Hello, Chaparral students. It's Mr. Ortiz, and I wanted to see if you can guess what story I'm reading today. It involves this here, right here, and if you guys can see, I have a really nice. Let's see if I can pull it back. Well, let me get up so you can see it. I have a really nice chair, and it's a glove, and it's a swivel, really comfy. So, if you guys guessed a story about softball, then you're right. This one's called I Am on Strike Against Softball. And it is by Julie Gassman. So, as you can guess by looking at my fingers, over the holidays I worked on some projects that I had to paint, and so some of the paint didn't come out, so I have to excuse myself. Okay, chapter 1. Alright. Normally, if you asked me what my favorite class was, I would answer gym. I love being active and learning new sports and games. But my teacher's announcement at the end of the class today had me dreading the next gym class. On Friday, we will start a slow pitch softball unit, said Miss Maloney. Get ready to play ball. A bunch of kids started cheering. They probably had super skilled, like super speed, so they can get to the base in the blink of an eye. We all had a super skill at Victory School, but ones like mine, super jumping, didn't necessarily help any when it came to softball. That's why instead of cheering, I just stood there, counting the hours until I will once again embarrass myself in softball. It had been almost a year since I had faced the batter's box, but when I think about it, I feel just as upset as I did the day it happened. I never played softball before. For lots of kids, the game was old news. They had been playing it for years after school. Some of them even played softball or baseball in summer leagues. But I usually spend my free time dancing or making up cheers, or just jumping to see how high I can get. Playing softball in gym had sounded fun though. All the superstars seemed to be pretty good at all sports, so it was no surprise when the game took off with a bang. There were great hits, amazing catches, and everyone was having fun. When I was playing in the outfield, my friend Kenzie used her super strength to hit one out by the fence. I leaped across the fence, then I jumped so that the ball was coming straight at me. It should have been an easy catch, but the ball went right past my glove. Kenzie got a triple and drove in 2 runs for her team. Most players would have even made it over there, so it wasn't a big deal that I missed the catch. I'll prove myself when I bat, I thought. Finally, my chance to hit my own home run came. My team was down by 1. Runners stood on second and third. As I stepped up to the plate, Mrs. Mahoney shouted, "We only have a few minutes left, Alicia. So you'll be the last batter. You ready, Alicia?" "Yes, ma'am," I shouted. I stood the way Miss Maloney had shown us. My knees were slightly bent, and I was tilted forward a little at the waist. I held the bat over my left shoulder, ready to swing. "You can do this," I told myself, "and when you do, you'll win the game." The first pitch came my way. "Strike one!" Mrs. Maloney yelled. She was the umpire behind the plate. One strike doesn't mean anything, I thought. The next pitch came toward me. I swung and I missed. "Hey, Alicia, you're supposed to hit the ball," teased my twin Danny. "No heckling out of you, Mr. Gull," said Mrs. Maloney. "Don't pay any attention, Alicia. You can do this." The last pitch came my way. I swung hard, but the bat cut under the ball. I couldn't believe it. I struck out. I heard my teammates groaning and complaining. I was the only one to strike out the whole game. I decided right then and there that I would go on strike against softball. I don't think they were really nice, huh? They weren't showing any good tax leadership, right, kids? Chapter 2, Making a Plan. Heading back to the locker After gym, my friend Tyler ends up walking by me. I'm pumped about softball, he says. I have been itching to play a game of ball ever since I had to miss the Spirit Week baseball game because of my sprained ankle. Uh-huh, I say quietly. The last thing I want to talk about is softball. What's wrong? Aren't you excited? Last year was so fun, he says. It wasn't fun for me. I made a fool of myself, I say. I am on strike against softball. What are you talking about? Tyler asks. He looks at me like I'm crazy. Don't you remember? My team was down by 1 and I was up to bat. And I struck out. I totally struck out, I say. Oh yeah, I remember. I was on the other team. So thanks, he says, grinning. Haha. Anyway, I'm just going to have to figure out a way to get out of batting, I say. I started making a plan. Maybe I'll just keep moving to the end of the line. Miss Maloney won't even notice. Tyler gives me a doubtful look. Don't you think you should spend your time practicing instead of making up plans that will never work? If you worked at it, you could probably learn to hit before the end of the week. He has a point. If it's a good idea, if I actually thought I could learn to hit, but I don't. Chapter 3, Trying the Tee. The more I think about it, the more I think Tyler's probably right. Miss Maloney will never let me get away with skipping my turn at bat. She always knows everything that is happening during class. I think she has eyes in the back of her head. So, I need a new plan. Once again, Tyler is right. I need to practice. After dinner, I asked my mom if I could use the computer. I do a search for how to practice batting by myself. I read, use a tee, move the tee around to higher than lower levels. This will let you practice hitting pitches of different heights. Hopefully we still have Danny's old tee that he got on his 4th birthday. After digging around in the shed for a while, I pulled out the old tee. It was in rough shape, but it will do. I set it up at the edge of the yard and started taking swings. Even with the tee, I don't hit the ball every time. This is how bad I am. After a while, though, I start to feel a rhythm. Maybe I can do this after all. Then I hear Danny's laugh. And I know right away that he's laughing at me. What are you doing? Since when are you a preschooler playing t-ball? Danny teases. Don't worry about it, I say, turning away from him. Seriously? What are you doing? He asks. With his super speed, he zips around and faces me again. He looks at me like I have 2 heads and 3 eyeballs. If you must know, I am working on my batting. I don't want to make a fool of myself in softball again, I explain. Girls are so weird, says Danny, shaking his head. Sorry to tell you, but being a pro t-ball batter doesn't mean you are able to hit a pitch. Or are you going to bring your tee to gym? Danny's really laughing at me now. Ugh, leave me alone, I yell. Don't worry, I'm out of here, says Danny as he zooms through the yard to the back door of the house. Don't worry, I repeat to myself, if I could follow that advice. If only I could follow that advice. I'm sorry, guys. Chapter 4. After a few more hits, I gave up. What's the use? Danny is right. Becoming an expert batter off a tee won't make any difference. I put the tee ball and bat away, but as I came out of the shed, Danny appears with Mom and Dad following behind me. My parents are dressed like if they're ready for a workout. What's up? Are we going on a bike ride? I ask. Nope, says Danny. We're going to play softball. Well, we're going to help you bat anyway. Danny says you could use some help. Mom says, you should have asked me. I used to be pretty good at softball when I was a kid. You were? Are you sure? I'm your daughter? I ask. I hate softball. You hate it? Come on. It isn't that bad, says She says, grinning, I'll pitch to you. Danny can catch and Dad can give you pointers. Everyone moves into position. Let's see your stance, says Dad. I stand the way Mrs. Maloney showed us last year. That's pretty good, says Dad. Now remember the first rule of batting. Keep your eye on the ball. Mom lobs the ball forward towards me. I watch the ball carefully, just like Dad said. But all my watching, my swing is late, and I miss by a mile. I'm terrible, I say. You aren't terrible, says Dad. You just haven't figured it out yet. The nice thing is once you hit the ball, you should have no problem getting to base. 1 or 2 leaps and you'll be there. I smile at him. So I'm watching the ball. Now, what? I ask. If anyone is willing to help me, the least I can do is try. Now, think about timing. You should start your swing when Mom releases the ball. Give it another try, he says. Words run through my head. I can do this. Watch the ball. Don't forget to swing. Crack! I did it! But my hit goes right to Mom. In a real game, the catch would have made me out. Great job, Alicia, says Danny. Sure, except Mom usually caught it, I say, feeling sorry for myself. But you hit it, Alicia, says Dad. As you become more comfortable with hitting, you'll get better at directing your hits so they aren't so easily caught. Could you feel the difference with that hit? I think about it in a second. Yeah, I could. I finally answer. It was like I knew when to expect the ball. Let's try it again and make sure it wasn't just a fluke. And after I get the hitting thing down, I need some more practice catching too. Everyone laughs. Then we get to work. The day I was dreading is here. But the funny thing is I am actually looking forward to it now. It is my chance to make up for last year. Instead of hiding at the end of the bench, I'm sure I'm in the first part of the lineup. I'm excited for my chance at bat, but I'm also a little nervous. Hopefully, after I bat once, I will calm down a bit so I can focus on the rest of the game. I'm the third one to bat. So far, Kenzie hit a pop-up that the pitcher easily caught. Tyler followed that by a nice 2-base hit. Are you ready? Danny asks as I pick up the bat. I've never been more ready, I say with a grin. The first pitch comes right away toward my hitting zone. I swing and hit the ball. It bounces towards third base. The player there snags it, but it doesn't matter. With my jumping skills, I easily bounce to first base. So she did it, guys. Lainey is up next, and she is actually on the school softball team. What's her super skill? Batting. Just like I hoped, Lanny hits a triple, driving Tyler and me home. I feel so proud when I hear my teammates cheer me on as I approach the home base. Way to go, Alicia, they shout. My team ends up winning by 2, which is great. But the best thing about the day is what happens after gym. Miss Maloney stops me. Alicia, I was watching you out there. You have really improved from last year, haven't you? She asks. Well, Danny and our parents have been helping me, I say. I know you keep pretty busy with cheerleading, but you should think about going out for softball, she says. I've never seen anyone get on base so easily, except maybe your speedy brother. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a smile. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I gave her a big smile. Thanks, Mrs. Maloney. I'll think about it. And to think I had planned to try and hide through class today. It turns out the hard work always beats hiding. And that's what I always tell my players. It's always good to keep practicing and all. So if you think about it, this Sports Illustrated Kids book is about Victory School, and all these girls and boys have superpowers. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I will be back with more, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.